rounding it out.
Yeah, Greasy, Tilted, the Collider, new additions, old duos. It's all clashing here for this season's FNCS Chapter 3, Season 2. It's starting Game 1 of 12.
We're heading right into things. Players gliding. You gotta make sure you hit the first drop sweet, nice, no hiccups to begin with. But this is where things get intense. You can see here over towards this Tilted Towers area, we got some top teams, some teams I'm sure will be following plenty today. And here at Command Cavern, you're the same. Look at all those names, Shio Wager. I wouldn't be surprised if an FNCS winning duo came exactly from this spot. And Pink and Anas, a team that definitely will feel they deserve a mention in that. Landing over towards the top side, Malibuka Mustache at the blimp.
This entire landing for every team that's here, I think it's about 5 or 6 that are landing so far. They have to land like a perfect puzzle, Levin. One moment of kind of difference, one shot where, you know, one piece lays on top of the other, everything crumbles. There's a huge fight that starts.
Yeah, it's honestly, you know, a chess game between about 6 different teams, right? Can't overstep your boundary. You can't afford to step on someone's toes, right? That's where you can cause issues. This is something I'm happy to see right off the start. Game 1, a launch pad on the floor spawn is a brilliant, brilliant thing. But Malibuka Mustache will have to stay alive. You can see maybe some cheeky shots there, trying to get that storm surge damage dealt a bit early. But I love tap here and there. Won't be scary for anybody. What is scary though is save it down over here towards the Joneses. Yakpo having to fend for himself.
Yeah, this is where we're watching new experience build itself. For Yapko, not really made an FNCS final so far. This is his first time kind of in this type of seat, whether it's driver or passenger. We have 12 games to tell. Over here at the Joneses, though, this fight should go on for a multitude of games, for a lot of time between just these two duos until maybe even some more come in through the fray. Yeah,
I think the big thing with this fight, right, is that there's some games we'll watch, it literally just will finish instantly. There's some games where it will drag out. This is a game where maybe they can afford for it to drag out. The zone is close by, and so there's not as much pressure there. But Yakko in this situation is very, very tough. I'm sure there's been a lot of people who are fans of Savored, especially one of the bigger names in the scene. And so they'll be hoping that Yakpo can do a spectacular here and win things out.
Every time I watch a Joneses fight and one teammate's down, it's kind of like looking at a bucket of water with a hole at the bottom. You are leaking. You are reverse drowning, kind of. I don't know what the official term is. What I'm saying is you need to throw all the liquid you have at the duo you're fighting immediately. If you wait too long, you can just get dragged out by constant pressure from a distance. No one needs to just rush at you immediately. Rab and Nyan just making sure they're taking their time. Nice tosses up top of the minis. Mechanic, we usually don't get to see the first-person POV of or used in the slow form type of battle, but over at the Joneses, Levin mentioned it. Sometimes you're super fast. If you try things, you get denied. Really good defense from Yapko overall, but yeah, when you slow things down, that's where that bucket just loses all its liquid.
Yeah, that's really interesting, right? Because to start off with, we didn't actually expect to see Rabbit and Fanayan landing over here towards the Joneses contestant, right? Many people thought it would be Blueback in theory. It's not obviously been them in this case. This time it's Fanayan winning it out there. They come in clutch in that moment, but we're right into some more action over towards Logjam. And another case of a fight maybe we didn't expect to see, but a fight that Flois will be happy to be winning here, doing the crucial shots in the end. Mappy comes clean as well. Noah Riley and Vidil. This is so interesting, Shayo. We expected to see Noah Riley and Vidil over towards Command Cavern, but no, they're here at Logjam and they're going down early.
I was looking at the cavern for a sec, trying to get the full mosaic together. Some pieces were missing, some tiles, the color was looking kind of weird with how many people flying in. I did not expect this type of drop to change.
The story for Noah Riley and Vidil has been so all over the place, right? They were landing over towards the fortress. It had a bit of a nerve with the Collider coming in. They decided to leave. I think that was a mistake. Many people would argue that was a mistake. They decided to go to Command Cavern. Things were looking all right there, but still a bit scuffed. Now, game 1 of the FNCS finals decided, nope, scrap both of those. We're going to head towards Logjam and contest Mappy and Flois. That is just all over the place. And to go down in game 1 especially is now going to be huge for their emotions.
Yeah, think about Flois and Mappy as well specifically. They were not expecting that. They were looking at, not saying, you know, Lumberyard is a sleeper POI. They were in rest mode, still in bed, getting ready to start their day immediately now. Have Surge, have everything ready to go. I'm very concerned to see exactly how Noah Riley and Vidil's day goes if that is the adjustment.
Look, if there's one team especially, or two teams especially, that won't be happy to see how that fight played out, it will be Pink and that's Malibuka Mustache. If now Noah Riley and Vidil decide they want to go back to Command, that could be tragic for those two teams.
I will watch the perspective of veterans versus rookies. Look at Yusri though. Doesn't matter if he's new on the block, he's doing so much damage with every shot. 1v2 with the auto shotty in hand. Endelix and X-Squeeze are down.
What a shot from Yusri. All season long, we've talked about how this guy has the potential to hit max damage shots when necessary, call him Maxry sometimes, and to take down some French titans in Anderlecht and Squeeze, two players who very much are considered favorites by some people to go all the way.
He was back against the wall as well. This man was in an Anderlecht Squeeze pinch. I've never seen someone survive that type of hold. It's like a python getting hold of your entire body. Somehow you wriggle out and you slay the beast as well.
I'm really excited now. Just some of these early engagements we're seeing, things are looking a lot more fun than maybe we expected. Tayson and Chapix.
Oh no.
Not a team that I want to see getting an engagement, right? Very much a big favorite. The analysts, Reese and Mini, both have these guys as their potential winners for the whole thing. And understandably, two of the greatest Fortnite players we've ever seen. Two players who are hungry to do better than how they did last season. And two players at a POI that very much has the potential to produce an FNCS winner.
This is one of the reasons for that. We saw the effect of a slurp truck all the way over at Command Cavern for the first half of the FNCS season, how much it can save you on a lot of the shields that you need, just prep you up for the end game as well. They'll have access to that, access to the rotations, but need to make sure they're dealing that damage. For Hen and Queasy, I mean, I'm looking at the zone right now, Levin. Mini literally explained this bar for bar. Queasy's down, first of all. Past that as well, this is a south zone. Worst possible circumstance for this duo to start the day.
Yeah, this is very much uncharted territory for them. Early game at Sleepy Sound, Queasy's down, right? Usually Queasy's the insurance almost, right? He's the guy that you can trust to maybe stay composed, stay calm. Hen's a phenomenal player, can lose his head at times. But for Queasy to be down in this situation, that is rough.
Must be some type of breakdown from that southern team landing all the way over at Sleepy.
I wonder if it wasn't Jetta and Kiko, right? Those are obviously the guys that land South Sleepy. If there was a fight that broke out here, I'm sure we'll get an update on that at some point, but very, very tough start for the reigning FNCS champions.
See exactly what Reese has for some of these off-spawn engagements. They've been insane. We need some help with this one.
Hello, hello. Thank you very much, boys. We're looking at Cammy and Say right now in a classic position, but one of the most important things about them is they have never gone down before the fourth zone. Not one game this season in a set lobby have they gone down, and that's due to things like this. Great positioning. They understand that right now they're sitting next to Tilted. They can get easy tags on the players next to them. So they're looking set up, and if they go down before fourth zone, it's a new record. Back to you, boys.
Reese making a great point, right? This is their bread and butter, sitting up here perched and tilted. I think the big difference for them in this lobby is that usually they'll be accustomed to seeing more teams fighting it out at tilted, right? There'll be easier opportunities to do damage there. But this time they might have to be a bit more patient and a bit more clinical when those opportunities arise. This is a fight though we were expecting to see. Flixie, Kiduo up against Ziandi and Joe. And a fight that many people, Shayo, expect to go heavily in the favor of Ziandi and Joe. Ziandi, one of the better off-spawn fighters in the land. Somebody who's so confident, so ruthless in these situations. And you can see just pressuring from above, really just forcing Kiduo and Flixie down to desperation shots, desperation opportunities.
I think Ziandi might just be one of the best, period, statistically, in the entire server off of spawn. Kiduo being one of the worst, but we've seen, just in terms of stakes, a lot of reversals, a lot of upsets already inside this early game. Synapse Station, in terms of Ziandi and Joe, I feel like they've stamped this as home for them, especially in Qualifier 1.
Yeah, they've dominated in Qualifier 1, right, off spawn. It wasn't up against Flixie and Kiduo, but again, just following along that trend of them being very prominent off spawn players. Synapse Station maybe isn't one of the flashiest POIs on the map, but they very much have access to some rifts, right, for rotation when needed to get further down into the middle of the map. And of course, in this game where the zone is pulling towards this side, they do have time to be a bit more patient with this fight.
Patience is the name of the game for some of the Command Cavern teams. Malibu Mustache playing with the zone as much as possible, making sure the loadouts are spectacular. For Surge as well, I mean, what's one of the reasons, Levin, a lot of people like to stay in the Cavern for so long?
Well, the big thing with staying in the cavern so long is that you can actually do it, right? In terms of there are so many heals here. I don't think there's ever been a POI, right, that's allowed you to stay in it for so long in Fortnite. You can literally stay here for more than a couple minutes, right? And that's why, you shouldn't panic if you see these teams still here. The big thing is, though, as well, is that if you're deep late in Storm and you have a way of getting in relatively quickly, you can pick your spot, right? You can choose to go and play the dead side of the zone. That's what a lot of these teams like to do. Pink and Nas especially like to do that, right? They like to stay, wait, make sure they have their surge and loot all patterned correctly, and then they like to choose a less congested side of the zone. And you can see here now, with both teams doing that, they realize there's still opportunities to do damage, and big shots being done by Nas here.
Option to rotate now. We'll do a scan as well to hopefully get some more free picks, but nothing can happen yet. Queasy back up, Hen now down. This reversal that we see way deep into some tournaments, some set lobbies, like the game 5s and 6s, that's where this specific duo starts to struggle and swap lives back and forth. It's happening now.
This looks like a repeat of Qualifier 3. And for the people who maybe weren't here watching that stage, it was when the vehicles had just been removed. South zones were their biggest enemy. They've struggled so much against them, and coming into the finals, we thought they really had finally adapted and adjusted. Game 1 though, up against Clown and Refsguard in the zone. We saw Hen as a solo, now it's time for Queasy, but as much as a great player he is, this is such a difficult task. Refsguard, so relentless, doing the finishing blow as well. Him and Clown now will have their path to zone cleared, but they take out the reigning champions. A very, very rocky start for Queasy Hen.
Champions with no voice in game number 1, and surprisingly, I wouldn't even expect it to be Refsguard and Clown specifically to get that win off spawn, especially with just 2 eliminations. I thought they were gonna have a gruesome battle with Zrox and Kovacs overall. I thought it'd go all the way down to the final moment, someone getting eliminated, but they even disengaged. Now Aqua and Vino forced to get a little bit of their surge up, or, you know, just do a little bit more damage here and there. What an angle from Vino. He just moves faster, his shots come out quicker as well, and he's forcing people on the wood builds for the moment, making them look like absolute drones for the moment here too. This is just nuts from Vino. The shotgun shot not as clean as some of the AR tags, but he's putting on the pressure.
Vino has been in scintillating form this season. Genuinely, right now might be the best player in the game. Real talk. And look, we've hyped up many teams so far at the top of the show, but these guys will feel like, you know, they've been done dirty by us as analysts and casters, because genuinely you could argue these guys are the biggest favorites coming in to the FNCS finals. Their form leading up to it, Shayo, has just been out of this world. They're winning cash cups, they are dominating events, they're winning at Command Cavern. They've shown they can do it when they get zones, when they don't get zones, when they do get zones. They obviously have access to the vault in some games as well, depending on where Gunner spawns at Command Cavern. And so very much one of the biggest favorites to do it all. And my team that I have as favorites are struggling right now. Murstache down, Malabuka having to play as a solo in game 1.
This is the effects of clashing with the team all the way from Shifty Shafts, getting really late into moving into the zone. Both of them colliding on their paths to get towards safety. It's Nebs and Kinzel, I believe, that Murstache and Malabuka just clashed with in trying to get towards just the safe spots.
It's very interesting with this team, right? Because when analyzing their games leading up to this, they don't necessarily have surge problems usually, right? They usually deal a great ton of damage, right? But obviously some of these southern zones can be a bit difficult for them in terms of positioning. We're seeing that here with Vettel and Lotix, another North team who is struggling with a very southern zone. There's many games, and so hopefully with variance and luck, you don't have to get as many south zones if you are one of the northern teams. But we're seeing all these teams who have to play north really just struggling here in game 1. And it's not because of a lack of preparation, but this lobby is the biggest, the hardest, most difficult lobby in all of Fortnite, the hardest lobby you will play in. And so as much as you prepare leading up to it, Shayo, when you're in the moment, it is just such a meal, and some players can't.
There's no way. No shield for Cammy and Seti, down to Surge.
Come on.
Down to Surge. We talked about how they have a nice setup. Not even many people in Tilted. Might not be their usual Storm Surge strategy, but there should be so many people, Evan, moving around them. They have to land at least 1 shot.
Come on. Shayo Asia. For anybody watching right now who doesn't understand the scope of what we're seeing right now, we're seeing experienced veterans, people who have Storm Surge on lock in their back pocket, struggling to get Surge. Seti and Cammy in game 1, struggling with Surge, not something you'd be accustomed to seeing in the FNCS. But again, just showing you the magnitude of the lobby. A lot of these teams really struggling.
One big thing too, usually you'd see one team kind of get ahead of the pack in terms of points, eliminations. The only thing we've seen so far is just 2 eliminations, max, for a team. Right now, Murstache, Malabuka running in as well. This is going to be so bittersweet for Murstache overall. I don't think there's time for this bandage, my friend. Yep, you are knocked. Malabuka has the tech, the floppers, the mist as well, and the pad. Has a power loadout, but from this spot, with just being barely above Surge, I don't think that is enough at all.
Yeah, this is just so difficult. You can see all these teams looking at him. He uses the tree to line of sight his way in, and that's nice. But without a teammate this early on in the game, not many materials as well. Working with 300 wood, barely any hard materials. It is just a mountain for a molehill. Like,
whoa!
Look, he'll hit big shots like that. That's why people are so confident in his ability. But again, no shields even as well at this stage. Like, this is a near impossible situation for Malabuka.
Still getting rattled. No one's convinced that his defense can actually hold. Zone now locking in, and he has about half a box to use. The goal from Malabuka right now is just anything, any points, one elimination to survive a little bit of these placements. He needs to wait for 10 different duels to go down, and he's been hit for a white tag. That'll make people way too salviated for the moment to get this elimination right now. It's a quick tell too. There's not going to be that much speed in terms of expansion in this base. Not too much on the defensive side in terms of a voice for Malabuka. It's known now that he's a solo. Wood builds coming out as well. No one else in the lobby going down whatsoever. No fights breaking across the map. He is the spotlight. He is the man of focus. He runs away though, and it's going to be kind of okay for now. He's going to be taking zone for this though, Levin. This is disastrous.
I think his hope here is that people just forget about him at a certain point, right? Maybe he can just sneak his way in, but the moment he places a build down, instantly the shots come through right again.
When Malabuka is playing heel game in the 4th zone and is down on Surge, you know this FNCS is built different.
Yeah, this is just a game of adaptation. We're going to have to see change. I've seen even Pink and Anas now struggling, and he wants to get right in box. He doesn't even have shield, but he's desperate. He knows this is only hope.
Armored walls.
They've used some armored walls to slow him down, and he literally just has 12 builds left, but you see what it takes right now. He thought, look, it's a duo, but I have no other option. I just have to get in.
And now he's got to just get out completely. Has the pad, will drop it down to jump onto that one though. All the way back for Vino, it will take a little bit of a big jump, or for Pink, excuse me, to a big jump to jump on that. It's one layer up, it's just made up of wood, and all of them are down bad. 35 below now for Malabuka, many different people falling within the feed. It's Marco getting picked for now. Up top, Julex and Chicho. I think they took out Reason and Siptos to get that spot. You talk about people coming in from the zone. This was an in-zone type of fight. Whoever wins that claims the land, the title of Pharaoh of this desert.
Yeah, we're seeing in this game already a lot of the teams that land at these southern POIs sitting in good power positions. Scram and a Hellfire, a Greasy Grove team sitting nice, perched up. They have such a great angle onto these fights, and a lot of these Shambles teams, they're trying to hit damage. 144 above is all right compared to a lot of some of the other teams we've watched in this game, but there's plenty of opportunity for more.
Talk about all the veterans in the lobby. There are a lot of different duos as well who this is their first FNCS, and you mentioned this on the way over to the studio, Levin. They will not know how to deal with the Surge. They will be locked in, condensed into the zone line. You can look at the mini-map right now. You can see just that. No one in the center at all. People like this just barely surviving towards the back. It's Stompy who's moving in. Usually good off spawn in terms of he's either not making it towards the game, or him and Ju are bigged up on a loadout and have no issues with Surge rocking through, but clearly he's having some problems. Thomas and Tripper, who I feel like we should talk about but haven't even mentioned just yet, they're looking completely fine right now.
Yeah, this is another Command Cavern team, and not just any sort of Command Cavern team, Command Cavern Titans. Of course, they had a difficult journey to make it to the FNCS final, but never a team you can count out. We talked about how, you know, elimination heavy format. Thomas is right up there in terms of players who just non-stop get eliminations. He's the kind of guy you can just never count out. And as much as we all give Thomas his flowers, I want to big up Tripper. Not just because he's my former teammate, but because he has been so impressive this season. He has really, at times, put the team on his shoulders and came through clutch, hitting big shots. And we'll see if they can do that again, using a pad to get into 5th zone. And you can see already the position they're taking, making use of some of the builds of Art School and T-Chips. And they're set up nicely.
Meteors flying in definitely have an impact here. Thomas and Tripper now with this POV going to be a lot more active than Art Skill and T-Chips right down below. This is just an insane kind of, is it a duplex? Is it a 2-story thing? I don't know what the specific residential tag is for it, but having these two teams free to shoot right now is going to cause so much damage. Rifty also just going completely down in the feed. Benji up and alive as well. Flodax is going to be Rifty's teammate who doesn't make this portion of the game. Up towards the north side, no one can really make it in just yet. That's where the majority of trouble is. Trulex and Chicho should have the best chance to understand all the information that's going down. Here's the zoom in into all that action. Vortex, Janice, They kind of started the game around here a little bit. Now put down armored walls on one side. Going to be so difficult for them to move, and they've almost trapped themselves in. There's no basement. There's no roof. This is tough for them. Janus is melting. It's just Vortex. He's forced to play as a solo from here. What a situation to be in. They pull zone 2, so he's going to be able to make it out from here, but he loses his teammate in the process.
He had to sacrifice Janus. There was literally only space for one of them in this tight little corner there. They couldn't both squeeze it. But Janus going down is rough. Janus is typically the one that leads Vortex to clearer oceans, puts him in positions to get good eliminations and refreshes. But now Vortex is going to have to do it as a solo.
Already moving zones as well, and I see Benji and Savage pulling the best possible zone on low ground from that POV. Tayson and Chatpix kind of in their, I don't know, just situation, in their element as well over on the backside. I love to see the double taps of the pads, or just the late ones, to make sure they get a scope of the land first, see exactly where height is on the right, going to fly, maybe even right past it. No, they're walking straight up. It's a red carpet for them almost, but do they win the award? Not just yet. It's Vanya who's up here, who they're going to be trying to fight. Chatpix and Tayson looking for an option still. They need to force a fight here at some point. 200 below Surge. This is trouble for them, but they can't find a single duo.
They're looking for another pad, right? And you see dropping down, they actually look like they're about to take out Vortex. He barely gets away by the skin of his teeth. Kami and Vanyak, though, held on to height against Chatpix and Tayson. We'll see how many times we get to say that throughout the day. But maybe I spoke too soon, because in the backside of the zone, Kami left Vanyak to find for himself, and he wasn't able to hack it. Tayson picks him up. Chatpix did go down in the meantime, but Tayson is no stranger to a solo clutch. Deep in the zone, though, using the chunk splashes for some extra time, and needs to hit a big shot, and he will.
The game's gone, though. The zone is so far away. They've been playing their own little mini-game here the entire time. Bats are going to come close towards Tayson, but he's taken so much in terms of resources to have this position. He's a solo now.
Yeah, and Nass was on his wall there for a moment, got the edit through just in time to delay. But this is a very, very difficult situation. Thomas and Trippin, though, up on height. Vino in the bottom right of your screen as a solo. He doesn't have Aqua now, but he does still have a launch pad, and the med miss will give him some time in the zone. The low pad towards the front side of the zone is crucial for keeping him in this game.
Double tart from Trippin and Thomas on height on the left side of your screen, and they have solos to deal with down below. Vico on the backside going for a few shots up against Hookah. He's going to go down. Vino now as well, just in this driver's seat of a clutch potential. Chicho also forced to do that, but look at high ground. Maximum control, just dominance and effortless vibes from Trippin and Thomas.
But a team that we're associated with getting eliminations, just 2 at the moment, but plenty of opportunity for more. You can see Thomas now with the spray coming through. Chicho is a solo, so many solos left in this one. Hellfire being in a very similar predicament, but less builds and not much to work with. You can see he's trying to find something, some sort of an opening, but he needs to do it quickly. There's so many players in and around his builds, almost opened the cone there to try and get the shot off. But you can hear he has the sound cues. He just needs to connect the shot.
Has to play with just the time. 8 teams left now, all the way up to close to zone 9. Hellfire, 4 eliminations for the full team. 5 here for Mappy and Flow. Off of spawn in regulation. Now they're looking for a little bit more of consistency. Chicho runs into a wood wall and he just goes down. Art skill is active inside this endgame. Hellfire now looking to just get heated up, but no, he gets cooled down by a few beams from the back. It's going to be windy here inside the mid ground. Will he just fall over like a lone leaf? Nope, Stripper and Thomas just cutting down the forest from up top, taking apart every single solo down below in the sands. They melt into the ground. Thomas HD is looking high and mighty, but they still have no elims. They have to go straight for the win if they want to just rein in the points.
The weather report from up above is clear skies. No difficulty for them from above. They're not getting the eliminations, but they'll just secure the win instead. Kefi in the back of the zone has no chance. Flixie and Kiduo, though, they were able to stay alive from sign-up station, and now in a crucial 2v2 against 2 of the best players in the land.
Here we go. Thomas HD Trippin. Low on materials overall. Trippin will drop down the risk to go into the storm to pick up vital mats to be able to hold that high ground. Reconnected, armored walls. These guys are ready for the final fight. Nothing for Kidwo in the tank. They have to rely on those shots. Final pyramids drop down. It's all up to the fight in the sand. Trippin beam down. Thomas in trouble. They're holding on for as long as possible. One striker pump is going to start things off. Thomas takes down Flixie. Trippin drops but falls too fast. Thomas with the insurance, and Thomas with the win.
There's a reason why he's respected the way he is. Thomas HD coming out in the first game of the FNCS and securing the victory royale. Trippin wanted all the glory and maybe fell a bit just too soon, but Thomas, even with no builds, was able to drop down and hit some crucial shots and closed it out against Kiduo. A brilliant game.